Tell me what you're drinking, we can go pour one. Tell me what you're thinking, we can have some more fun. I know that you said you don't think of me, but what you
Okay, welcome to a new episode of Stealing Home, your favorite show about family, love, work, relationship advice, baseball, mostly baseball.
Mostly the latter. And
Mostly
I was adjusting my mic too, so I hope you just heard that intro and it wasn't just like
Yeah, okay, we'll see. I'm Lisa, this is Anthony, and it is the week of November 12th.
Yep.
We're officially in the off season, and what do we got to talk about this week?
Well, baseball, but first, obviously, I think you've seen this
Not always
in person.
baseball, clearly.
You've
Yes,
seen
of
this
course.
in person. Fly frame, guys. Floating picture cube. It is floating with magnetism right now.
The only thing that I'm not upset to have on this desk, other than the Derek Jeter ball, is this amazing fly frame.
I'm going to demonstrate here. Baseball card underneath. You saw that? I'll do it again for you guys if you can zoom in too. Watch this baseball card underneath. So there's nothing underneath this cube. It is floating in the air. Go ahead and get one. Link in the description. And go to Etsy and just look up personalized floating picture cube.
Okay.
Or
Very specific.
Fly Frame LLC.
Fly Frame.
Go to their TikTok, look up Fly Frame. You'll find them. Awesome product. Shout out to them for the sponsors. But yeah. Let's
let them know that we sent you their way.
Let them know something about us.
Look, just communicate with each other. This is the relationship advice part of the show. Let's get into baseball.
Just buy one. Yeah. So I guess the off season's officially started here. The Rangers countdown to like when your World Series doesn't matter anymore is officially on, right? So like enjoy it now because the season's gonna be back before you know it. Part of that, I'm not sure if you saw any like tweets or anything about the Rangers World Series parade, which is always a great time.
I haven't. I didn't actually.
I know being in Tampa, we've had some World Series or not. Oh, definitely not that.
Nope.
But we've had some Stanley Cup parades, and then we also had Tom Brady with the Lombardi throwing. Like we do boat parades.
We have boat parades in Tampa, so it's a lot more fun, and I feel like it's a lot more, and like weird stuff happens on the boat parade. I don't know what it is about getting these
weird
athletes
stuff happens on boats in general.
Yeah, it's like you put them on a boat, and then because like
you get water involved.
Was it Point from the Lightning who like climbed a light pole? Who was that? I think it was him.
Oh no, that was Yanni Gord.
Okay, yeah, somebody like climbed a light pole. Tom Brady throwing a Lombardi trophy in the practically in the river.
Yeah.
We do it right. So I can't imagine how it was.
You can't hate on any championship parade, honestly, because you finally get to see these players achieve what they wanted to achieve, and they finally get to let loose off because it's the off season. Part of that too was Corey Seager. I don't know if you've seen this when they do a speech. They do the parade and they do a speech in a park in front of all their fans, and it's kind of like it's like the inauguration, but like happier.
Sure,
because
okay.
It's not political,
fair,
right? And it's full of all the people who support him. So Corey Seager, actually, I'll just rewind it. Alex Bregman on the Astros, right? So you remember the Rangers struggled at the end of the season, ended up losing the division. They led it for the majority of the time. Mm-hmm. Alex Bregman ended or he was in the clubhouse when the Astros won. And cameras all around, and he's doing a speech before they pop the champagne. Alex Bregman on the Astros, and he goes, "A lot of people, wondered what it would look like when the Astros didn't win the division. I guess we'll never know." And then the Astros all started popping bottles. Well, Corey Seager at the speech goes, "A lot of people wonder what it would look like if the Rangers didn't win the World Series." He goes, "I guess we'll never know," and then dropped the mic.
Okay.
So it's kind of cool. What do you mean? Whatever. It's kind of like he's kind of like a little jab at the Astros. I think that was pretty fun.
It's fine.
That doesn't do anything for you? I think that's hilarious.
No, it doesn't really do much for me. I think with the Astros being, the reason they said that was because so many people did not want them to win. I don't think anyone was rooting against the Rangers. Like, everyone was fine with the Rangers winning.
No, but they said that as a jab. Like, we were always going to win the division. Like, the Rangers were never going to win the division. And they jabbed back like, oh,
okay. Yeah,
like Castellanos did.
Yeah.
Castellanos, you remember this?
I do, yes.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think it's pretty cool. Look ahead to April 5th when the Rangers open up with Houston at home. That's their home opener.
Oh, wow, that's going to be a big game.
Let's see if there's any because remember they beefed in the series. They had some bad blood. So
there's gonna be beef.
Hopefully it carries over to the regular
season.
Yeah,
let's have some good.
That's definitely a rivalry we're gonna be looking forward to for a couple of years here moving forward. Nate Lowe was an absolute party animal.
There's always one player that stands out from a parade.
Yeah,
And
that's true.
like I just said, it was Yanni Gourde with the Lightning here, and I'm gonna remember the Tampa parades the most.
Honestly,
obviously,
that
but
one might be a wild card because the hockey ones are out of question. All those
that's
guys go
true.
crazy.
But I'm just
Tom
saying, there's
Brady with the
always
Bucks.
one player that stands out because they just kind of go a little too far, and you're like, wow, okay. So what did Nate Lowe do? Is he?
He was just running around shirtless, smoking a cigar. Not typical stuff, but it was just fun to see. Because it's
There's
like a
always
guy.
one. There's
Yeah.
always one that
Yeah.
like you're just like, okay, that he's the guy in the clubhouse who's like that.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Once they get loose, they get
Yeah,
really,
you're
they
like,
get
oh, that's
really
it, that's
loose.
him.
Yeah, but with the off season now, you would think when you think off season, a lot of players, free agents, players moving around. But really, this off season has been the managers.
Oh,
a lot of
interesting.
managerial changes. The biggest one, honestly, and the reason why I'm wearing this Cubs jersey, Craig Counsell, the manager for the Brewers, was, I guess, a free agent. It's weird to say that about a manager, but yeah, he was a free agent. He wasn't. His contract ended with the Brewers.
Okay.
And he ends up going to the in division rival, literally probably an out. I don't know how far it is from Milwaukee, Chicago.
Oh.
But ends up going to the Cubs.
Wow.
Signs 5 years, $40 million with the Cubs. David Ross, who was like a kind of a sweetheart holdover from the 2016 Cubs when they won the World Series.
Mm-hmm.
He was their manager after Joe Madden. They kind of kicked him to the curb. Hired Craig Counsell, which I'm not sure.
Joe Madden was the manager when they won, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then David Ross comes up after Joe leaves.
Yeah, but they didn't like.
They didn't really do much afterwards. So.
Well, they didn't have the same team. Like it wasn't. What do you mean?
I'm just saying, like I could see why if you really like Craig Counsell, you would kick out David Ross.
Yeah, and like if I'm a Cubs fan, I don't know how I would feel. Like we have Craig Counsell. He was with the Brewers, and I mean he did good. Like you see here, like 9 years with them. He won a division 3 times. He made the postseason 5 times. I mean, he has a winning record as a manager. He's one of the better managers in the league right now. So, yeah, I wouldn't mind having Craig Counsell as my manager, especially with the Brewers because it's not like they have a wagon of a team every year.
Right.
They're just good, and he's a big reason
I think
for that.
yeah, you know.
How do you feel about, like, if you're a Cubs fan, I wonder how they feel with David Ross leaving. I'm sure they don't care as long as they win.
I was going to say, as a fan, sometimes I think you do get attached to the coaching, but honestly, what you really care about is whether or not you win at the end of the day.
Well, the reason why it's probably a little tougher with David Ross is he's, like I said, he's a former player. So he was on the World Series team. He was a catcher.
Oh, I see.
Then he retired, became a coach. So he was kind of like the sweetheart Cubs guy, and now he's out. But, I mean, I've mentioned Craig Counsell. I was probably figuring you didn't know who the heck Craig Counsell was before I even said his name.
Mm-hmm.
So I, figured you guys would be asking who's Craig Counsell. And, again, he's 707 and 625 through 9 years.
Okay.
Which is a winning record, which is good for a manager. I mean, you got to think in 9 years, you're going to have at least one of those teams is going to be god-awful.
Right.
Because the team's not supposed to be good for 9 years in a row, unless you're the Rays. So I was like, let me compare them to, like, who are some of the other good managers that we know of in this game.
Okay.
And let me see how he compares to like the Dusty Bakers, the Bruce Bocheys, the Terry Franconas, a lot of these good managers. I mean, Dusty, in the playoffs, is 57 and 51. He's been to 3 World Series, and he's only won 1, right? But he's regarded as a good manager. Until he won the one with the Astros, he was always seen as, like, one of those managers that just couldn't win the World Series.
Yeah.
But he finally got one, so now he doesn't have to worry about that. Craig Counsell's 7 and 12 in the playoffs, hasn't even made a World Series. So a lot of people were saying he's like really good. I'm like, is Craig Counsell really that good? I guess we're gonna see this year.
Well, he's been with the Brewers for 9 years, and like you said, the Brewers, it's not like they have a wagon every year. And also, I would assume that managing the Cubs, he's gonna have a little bit more to play with when it comes to budget.
So, yep,
and
exactly
trading
right.
and trading power. So if you're looking at a manager who already has like a consistent winning, he looks like he's having postseason appearances consistently. He's winning the division. He's got a winning record. Like, why not give him a try? And especially if maybe you're feeling like for whatever reason you're not getting what you want from David Ross, give the guy a chance with a bigger club and see what he can do. And this might be exactly what it takes for Counsell to elevate himself and the Cubs.
That's a fair point because you look at it too. I mean, now he's going to the Cubs, like you said, better pay. And that's probably played into the reason why he took this job too.
I don't even mean for him.
He got paid more, larger salary for the team,
right?
Just bigger.
Bigger name,
and they're kind of more poised to win now.
Yeah,
because the Cubs had a pretty good year. The Brewers made the playoffs. The Cubs didn't.
And it might be a decision the office is making to say, you know what, we're poised, but we feel like we need someone who's going to be able to take us across this finish line.
Sucks for David Ross.
Sucks for David
'Cause
Ross.
They didn't think that was him, I guess.
Clearly not, because
Yeah.
they hired counsel. But I think for him, it's a great opportunity to come in here. I think this, could be really good news for Wrigley. Let's see what happens. And that makes total sense to me. I think I would do a lot, and it sounds like he can do a lot here in Chicago.
If you're a Brewers fan, you're kind of upset because I think the word on the street was if the Brewers offered him enough money, he would have stayed.
Well,
Because he played for Milwaukee too back in his playing days.
Yeah.
But now, if you're Milwaukee, like, shoot, we've given up so many of our good players. Now we give up our manager, who we've had for almost a decade, who's done well with us. You're kind of like, where are we going?
Yeah.
And the Cubs, you got to be excited because finally we get this guy who has a pretty good. I mean, he's from a rival, and now we have him. He's a successful manager, and we have a team that's poised to make the playoffs.
Yeah.
And a couple free agents out there, which we'll talk about. The Cubs are rumored to be in on that free agent hunt for a lot of players.
Okay.
Made one splash.
There's one player that I'm particularly interested in, but we can get to that later.
Ohtani-san.
Yeah. But I think it makes sense. Let's see what happens. And I think, unfortunately, this is kind of what happens when you're one of those mid-tier to low-tier teams. Like, I feel like this is until you really have that big break of like a scrappy team that like pulls out something you weren't expecting. This is kind of what happens. I feel like it's worse to be a Yankee right now, where you've got this big budget, you've got the name power, you've got all of this stuff that should be working for you, and you're getting rid of players that you should be keeping, and you're moving shit around.
That's just because they're bad at their job.
But what I'm saying is, if you're a Brewer and it's just you're a mid-tier, in my eyes, kind of brand, kind of team.
Yeah, they would consider themselves smaller.
Yeah, they're not as big. They're a smaller market. So that's just, you got to be scrappy when you're at the bottom, because you can't play in the same ways that these big dogs are going to play. So good luck for the Brewers. Good luck to Council. Sounds like we should be watching for the Cubs next year.
No, yeah, I'm excited to see what the Cubs and Brewers, are the Brewers fans going to boo them? Who knows?
Nah, how can you blame them?
That was just one, and that was just one managerial change. You also have Bob Melvin going from, I think, the Athletics to the Giants.
Okay.
So he's going to be up there.
A's were bad,
across the bay.
Yeah.
So that's honestly the best deal for one manager. You don't even have to move your house. Just go to the other side of the bay. But he's going to manage the Giants, and the Giants kick Gabe Kapler to the curb.
All right.
Stephen Vogt, another former player, he's going to be managing the Guardians.
I always wonder how you say that out loud.
Vogt? Vogta.
In my head I go Vogta. Like, I've seen this name a lot, and I'm like, oh, it's Vogtula.
Yeah, he replaces Tito. Terry Francona.
And did he retire?
He steps down. He said he doesn't want to use the word retire. So I guess he's leaving the door open for another team, kind of like what Bruce Bochy did. He managed. Bochy was with the Giants, stayed out of the game for maybe 2 or 3 years.
And
won the World Series with the Rangers.
Got it.
So maybe Tito is leaving the door open for that. Like, hey, I'll take a break. I'm not retired.
Or shit, you know what? If you want to hire me as a consultant, go ahead. Pay me millions to not have to manage this whole team.
The one I'm most excited about recently with the manager hires is Ron Washington with the going from, he was an assistant coach and third base coach and infield coach for the Braves. Now he's managing the Angels now. What makes you
excited about that?
I love Ron Washington. He's awesome.
Okay.
He's a great coach. He managed the Rangers when they were close to winning those World Series. Mm-hmm. And then he got booted from the Rangers job. And he's been doing assistant coaching jobs since then. So he's a baseball lifer too. He's played ball. He actually played with Lenny.
Okay.
He was a shortstop.
Family friend.
Yeah, he
was
a shortstop on the Twins with Lenny. Or he was a second baseman shortstop. And he played the game, managed the game, he was 1 out away from winning the World Series. So I think he seems like a cool coach. And I've watched a lot of his YouTube videos about how he coaches with the infielders. He's actually a coach. He molds the players and they become better from his coaching.
Okay.
So it's going to be cool to see him manage the Angels and hope that kind of rub off on the Angels and maybe they make the playoffs and actually win a game.
Yeah, I was going to say the Angels is one of those teams that we talk about because they've got all these studs and they weren't even in the postseason this year. So, maybe that spells some good stuff for them.
So that's the managers that are moving around now. And seeing managers move around is fun because that's the head of the clubhouse. That's the general right there. But really what all the fans get excited for are the players, right? And there are some big name players out on the free agent market. And no one else bigger than the Japanese Babe Ruth himself, Shohei Ohtani. And I mean, he's not gonna be able to pitch next year because he's getting Tommy John.
Right.
But you're gonna lock that man up, and he's gonna pitch eventually down the line. And
you think
you're gonna get the greatest baseball player, perhaps, definitely on the planet right now, but maybe greatest baseball player in history.
At what point does he stop pitching?
When his arm falls off.
Okay. Do you think he's gonna be a dual player forever?
I feel like people have talked about that.
I feel like at some point he's got to stop pitching.
He could always switch from. He can always be a dual player, but like a two-way. But instead of starting, maybe move him to the bullpen. People have talked about that like later in his career when the innings rack up.
Right.
He's always going to be able to swing it, but maybe move him to the bullpen and use him as a closer, like you saw in the World Baseball Classic when he closed it out for Japan.
So what's up with Ohtani?
Nothing. I say let's just go over some of the top free agents here, and let's see. Give our predictions on where we think they're going to land. I have an article pulled up from MLB Network. So, Shohei Ohtani, I have a MLB.com article, and let me see who it's written by, too, just so I don't just steal this article without telling people who it's written by. All right, this guy, Manny, our boy Manny at MLB.com. And he's pretty much going through the top free agents and saying he's giving his prediction on where they go. I say let's do the same thing, give our predictions on where we think these top guys are going to land.
Okay.
So, obviously, the biggest one is Ohtani. This is going to be probably the free agent signing of the century. It's
gonna be big. People are gonna be excited to see. You're gonna either be excited or disappointed that he didn't go to your clubhouse.
It was a really big reason, or like a really big deal, when the Angels didn't trade him.
Okay.
Because the owner of the Angels was like, I don't want to be known as a guy that traded the best baseball player ever, which is very fair. And but some people were like, you could have gotten such a good haul for him. And then obviously he ends up getting hurt and all that stuff, and they don't even make the playoffs, so it looks bad. But I don't blame the Angels for not trading him. Like, that would suck. But Manny, our boy Manny at MLB.com, he's got the Dodgers being the best suitor and most likely person to get him. I want to say the Giants are probably going to be the best team to go out. Because they tried to go sign Carlos Correa. They tried to go sign Aaron Judge. The Giants did. And they were willing to throw money out there. The Dodgers are probably up there number 2 for me. But I think the Giants are going to be the ones that, they lost already on the other 2 big names that they wanted to go get. I don't think there's no way that they're going to lose. To I guess with Ohtani, they got to land one of the big guys that they're throwing money at.
I mean, yeah. Although with the managerial movement, it always is interesting, right? Because you get new guys and they've got new budgets. We just talked about Counsell over at the Cubs,
which is also another team that's rumored to get Ohtani.
I was just gonna say I think that I don't see him staying on the West Coast.
No,
I think that he's probably gonna move. I don't see the Yankees getting him because obviously they can't make a good decision to save their lives, but they probably also can't really – I mean, I don't want to say they can't afford him because they probably can afford him. They're one of the few teams that probably could. But I don't know. I just don't see him going to the Yankees.
I saw something that said not an East Coast team.
I'm thinking he's going to be in the Midwest. Now, is that going to be in
the Cubs?
Texas? Is that going to be in Chicago? I think those are probably – I think if you're Ohtani, it makes sense to go to a team that is either poised to win or that has already won, and you're entering into kind of an established clubhouse where you're going to be guaranteed to get some postseason action. Because if I'm him and I'm one of the best baseball players in the world, I'm not happy that I haven't gotten some postseason time. So I think you got to look at some clubs where that's going to happen. So who knows if, like I said, look at the 4 teams. You got the Diamondbacks, Phillies, Rangers, Houston of this year. Any of them, maybe not, but definitely a team that's poised to go into postseason next year. Those, I think, are the only ones you should be looking at.
Well, yeah, that's the problem with my Giants pick, too. I was going to say, Shohei definitely wants to win. He was on the Angels. He doesn't want another Angels situation where he's just not in the playoffs.
I don't think he'll stay at the Angels. I think it's going to be time for him to move. Yeah.
But these are some of the other teams receiving votes, but that's my problem with my Giants pick. They might throw him the most money or try to, but he might not want to go.
Oh, I see the Rangers up there. Yeah. I think the Rangers are a good bet.
He might not want to go to San
a team
Francisco,
that
is getting a new manager.
San Fran? Yeah, I'm not even. Yeah, I don't think he's gonna
You
end up
thought
at
the Giants were like New York or something?
No,
Like
I'm
the
just saying
football team?
I wasn't even thinking about. I don't think he's gonna end up with the Giants.
Oh, well, that's what
I just already
that
said
was
I don't
my-
think he's gonna be at the West Coast. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know. Maybe Rangers. I've seen something about Cubs too, trying to pay him. Like literally,
Cubs could be a.
it's every single team under the sun.
I think Cubs could be sneaky because you're not really thinking about them just yet. But like I said, they just got a new manager,
They
and that
also
tells
have-
me that they're getting ready to shake things up because they're gonna want to bring in new guys and they're gonna want to win. You don't bring in a new manager just for shits and gigs.
They also have the other Japanese stud, Saiza Suzuki, playing outfield.
Oh, okay.
So there's some, and same thing with the Mets. They got Kodai Senga, who's a pitcher for the Mets. So I mean, maybe that weighs in a decision.
I just don't see him
Ohtani.
on the East Coast. I don't know why.
I don't see him either. I mean, Yankees, but I think when he first came to the States, he said he didn't want to sign in New York.
I would look. He becomes a Yankee. I'm buying a jersey. Like I'm a Yankees fan again. But I just don't. I don't see it happening. I see another team for him. And like I said, I'm liking the Cubs or the Rangers maybe as like good established teams. He knows he's going to be in the postseason. He's got a chance to win a ring. Like that's going to be it for him.
All right, another big name here is Blake Snell, former Ray, aka Snellzilla, coming off a great Cy Young year.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not yet, like potential Cy Young because the awards come out soon. But yeah, I mean, here it's saying Manny's got the Cardinals, a couple other teams, Dodgers, Giants. Literally every team under
I was
the
gonna
sun.
say this is when it gets like really funny to
it's
me.
just too
'cause,
early.
Like, it's too early
It's
to
too
tell.
early,
Like
yeah.
you've got every single team in existence practically up here. Like
Mhm.
okay, who am I supposed to? I could pull a name right now out of a hat, and it could be just as good as this list.
Unfortunately, I could see the Sox. I think the Dodgers are going to try to land them. I'm not sure though, because Snell is like a really great pitcher, but he only gives you like 5 innings of perfection.
I think you're gonna see. I see that the Red Sox and Yankees keep coming up on these lists, and I think you are gonna see.
They're probably going to be on every single player.
Well, what I was gonna say is you're gonna see some movement from them for sure along these free agents, these big free agents, because you know they're not showing up in the postseason the way they need to be, and I think that really bothers them and the fans specifically.
The thing is, all these teams though, like when you look at a team, whether it's the Yankees, the Rays, the Diamondbacks, the Orioles, they all have a timeline, like in the front office, with where their team's at, where they think they're going to be in the future, and who they need to add, right? So sometimes it doesn't make sense for a team to add a big name player because they don't have the supporting cast around it. Sometimes they don't have a supporting cast, but they want to sign that big name player so that they can build around him.
Right.
It just depends on what their team's direction is. So like the Dodgers right now, they need some starting pitching, I would say. Like they have guys but they're injured. The Mets, I mean, they would like some starting pitching too, but it's like the timeline, right? Like, are the Dodgers poised to win right now? Yeah, they got studs. The Mets, they got studs too, but a couple in free agency. The owner just traded away a bunch of people. Even though he spent money, it wasn't working out, so that's why he was trading. So it's like, where's Snell gonna land? It's so early.
Throw a dart. It could be anywhere.
Dodgers. What do you say?
It's too early for me to even honestly, Rockies. I don't know.
Like, okay.
It could be anywhere.
Bellinger, Cody Bellinger, former MVP with the Dodgers, kind of had a few down years with the Dodgers. He ends up going to the Chicago Cubs last year in free agency. Has another, like a good year, like a bounce back year, kind of getting back to his former self. Here, I think the two main ones I've seen with Bellinger so far early, Yankees, because he's a left-handed bat and he can crank some home runs, and the right field porch in Yankee Stadium is so short. So maybe they go out and get him. Hope he's a stud and can help them in the season and playoffs. And then also heard the Cubs just re-signing him, keeping him in Chicago. And I think that would, I mean, I don't know what he wants. If he wants to go to playoffs, just make the most money, or be in a good fit. I mean, it seems like he was a good fit in Chicago. He had a good year. Does he want to go to New York? Some players don't want to go to the Big Apple because of the media and the pressure. I don't know, but I think he's just going to re-sign with. I think he's going to go to New York because the Cubs aren't going to re-sign. The Cubs got their eyes on a bigger prize.
Okay, could be
Maybe Ohtani.
Maybe. Yeah, that would make sense for the Cubs. I think it makes sense for him. Yeah, I don't know. Great. The Yankees need something. So I'm literally like, great. I don't know, like, good luck.
Yeah, and maybe I don't know what. Let me read this, but maybe
it's like sad to me too. Like Aaron Judge is a good player, and he's stuck on the Yankees right now. Like,
yeah,
he's like kind of Mr. New York at this moment. Like, I don't think they have anyone else who's like, yeah, that's the thing, is they're just like bad. So okay, and the thing with the Yankees too is they've got the kind of budget where they could snatch up whoever they want. You know, if they want to play there.
If they want to, but it's not George Steinbrenner running the team anymore. It's
That's
Hal,
true.
his son.
That's true.
So like they could have went and bought Carlos Correa last
That's
year.
true.
They didn't get him. They could have went and got.
Yeah, they're
they got Cole.
making
They got
really
Garrett
weird
Cole.
decisions.
They got Garrett Cole when he was starting pitcher free agent, and they spent a bunch of money on him. They got Giancarlo. This guy's contract, Giancarlo Stanton, is kind of crippling the Yankees a little bit.
Really?
Because he doesn't stay healthy. He's a good hitter in the playoffs, but like this, he can't run. He's just he's just out of it, man.
Nothing's ever going to be worse than that one run during the Astros game, I think it was, when that man slowly made his way to home base, and I was like, he ain't gonna make it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, man.
Oh, I have to. I'll pull that up later for you. But he's just like trying so hard, and I'm like, bro, this is why people say it.
Who were they playing? The Astros? Who were they playing?
I thought it was the Astros.
No, Astros and who?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was on the Astros, but maybe I could be wrong. It could have been anyone, but
I feel like
it was
before
they played it was before, or maybe
the Twins.
Yeah, I think it was when they played the Twins.
Yeah, it was. Or no.
Was it when they played
I
the
don't know.
No, but you know what
there
I'm
was a play
talking
at
about.
the plate and something happened.
But he was like, oh man, and it's funny because you could tell that he changed gears. Like he's the kind of runner where you can see like it's almost like the cars, like he's like trying to.
He unhitched the trailer.
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, there's other free agents, but there's literally so many. If we were to go, maybe we can go through them one day.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's hard right now, right? Because of the fact that it is so early. So we're kind of making like really. I think Shohei is probably the easiest to talk about
and the most fun
and the most fun. But honestly, at this point in off season, it could go at any which way.
There's also this stud Japanese pitcher coming from Japan League,
say that name.
Yoshi Yamamoto. Yoshi Yamamoto. I'm just gonna cut it at Yoshi.
Yamamoto. Yeah, you can say it. Okay.
Yoshi
cool.
Yamamoto. He's a stud. I think he had like a 1.21 ERA, which is unreal to be sub 2 as a starting pitcher. But he throws like 100 miles.
He's not in the league yet. He's coming over.
He's gonna be coming over this year, so he's a free agent.
Okay.
So Mets, I've heard, are huge on that guy because they already have Kodai Senga. The Yankees, I've heard, are big. Like obviously, the main
it's all the legacy teams you're gonna hear.
This early is the teams that have money that you're gonna hear. Boston, New York, San Francisco, Dodgers.
Right.
Yeah, of course, naturally. But we'll see. St. Louis, a little wild card in that one. But this show is gonna be coming out on Tuesday, so it's Tuesday right now if you're listening, unless you're not listening on Tuesday, which could be any other 6 days of the week. But I think November 13, 14, 15, 16, there's going to be some awards given out for like MVP, Cy Young, Rookie of the Year. These are the awards, and I put together some of the I guess top finalists for the awards, and I figured let's go through and make our picks for what the awards are.
Okay, so read them to me. I'll give mine, and then you want to give yours?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So start with the National League MVP. I think this is the more fun stuff to pick, and I've talked about this earlier in the season with my whole family because I was just yapping in the family group chat about it, and no one really cared that much. But you got two guys, Ronald Acuna with the Braves, Mookie Betts with the Dodgers, and everyone loves Mookie.
We do.
Yeah, Mookie's a dog.
We stand Mookie.
Acuna went 337, 41 bombs, 106 RBIs, and 73 stolen bases. While Mookie hit 346, better average, less home runs with 39, 107 RBIs, and he only stole 14 bags, though. So who are you picking out of those two guys? Okay, cool. Because it changed, because before in the season...
Well, but he's had more games now, right, Acuna?
What do you mean?
Didn't he play... He played more games than Mookie.
Yeah, 7.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yes, I think those stats have changed just a little bit.
They've been around the same.
Yeah.
I know the reason you love Mookie was because he played multiple positions. Well, the reason you love Mookie is because he's Mookie.
I didn't know. To be fair, for anyone watching, when he gave me the stats before, he did not tell me who the players were. So I was just going based off stats. True. And that's why I bet and you were pissed because I was still picking Mookie.
Yeah. I was like, how did I... My big thing, I like...
But that's why I know that these stats changed because I would have picked Acuna over Mookie had these been what I was looking at.
I'm pretty sure they're pretty the same. But... Because he had like 70 bags when I sent you that. But so like that's the reason why I'm picking Acuna. I mean, he has pretty much the same stats.
Yeah.
Like similar average. Mookie's got him on the average. Acuna's got him on the bombs. RBIs are pretty much identical. But Rose stole 70 bags. Like Mookie didn't crack 20. I got to give it to Acuna. But Mookie's value also is his ability to play multiple defensive positions.
Right.
Play second, short, outfield, and he's an athlete with all of them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to go Acuna. This is
This
a
year-
closer race than what you would think.
This year I'll go Acuna for sure.
The American League MVP, obviously Ohtani, seems like he's going to be in the race every single year just from the fact that he can do two positions at a high value. So he pitches and he hits, and he hit 304, 44 bombs. He also had a complete game shutty as a pitcher through 132 innings before his arm got TJ. And he's going against the World Series MVP, Corey Seager, who hit 327. He was also battling injury early in the year. Hit 33 bombs through only 119 games. We had 96 RBIs, which is crazy. He would have, if he played a full year, he probably would have cracked like 120 RBIs around there. So who's your pick for?
Yeah.
for MVP?
So this is interesting because, like, obviously we all know I am a big Ohtani fan, but
Almost bigger than Justin Verlander. for Ohtani.
it's hard, but maybe. But here's the thing, like, to me, and I understand that there's a difference between, you know, World Series MVP and like league MVP. However, it's hard for me to pick someone who like didn't at least get to the postseason.
Really?
Yeah, it just is, and I know that might not be like, you know, that might not be the point of this or like true, but
I mean, no, that's
Corey
a good,
Seager plays at this point on a you know, if we stop and we look just at the last month of baseball, we've been talking about Corey Seager this entire time and how he's rocked the postseason and he did a really good job and now he's a World Series MVP. It's hard for me to sit there and say, oh, it should be Ohtani over him.
No, but take the playoffs out of it though. Just regular season.
And I know, but that's the thing. That's my point. Is like it's hard for me to take that out. And the thing is too, this is not Ohtani's last year. What do I give it to him now just because he can play two positions and he's like and he's a pitcher?
So a couple
or do I
things.
give it?
So what, you're going with Seager?
I gotta go with Seager.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna say a couple things that you hit on that I think is a pretty good conversation to bring up anytime you talk about MVP votes and who should win the MVP. One, like, should Ohtani win it just because he plays two positions? I've always said no.
No.
Like, just because, like, sometimes he throws 100 miles an hour. It's really fun to watch. And it's, like, unreal that someone can do that.
Mhm.
But,
well,
dude,
he's
like,
gonna do it next. You know, like
not next year.
right.
But
you need what I'm saying.
But what I'm saying, though, is, you know,
I paused because I was like, wait.
if you put up average numbers as a starting pitcher, but he's a great hitter, but you put up average numbers as a starting pitcher, you shouldn't win MVP every single year.
Right.
But I mean, some like years where he's throwing up high value and pitching at an average, like that's a bonus. Like I understand it because he does two positions, and like when you talk about most valuable player, is it is it like the best stats? Is it or do they have to make the playoffs? Because you mentioned like it's hard for me to pick a player who didn't make the postseason.
Yeah.
So
well, this is where I think
when you talk about picking an MVP, it's like, damn, do I pick the best player in the league or do I pick the player that meant the most to his team? Like, you know, like which player, if you took him off the team, loses like the value, you know, like most
I
valuable.
think it's more like, actually, I think it should be more like this. Look, this is AL MVP. What player, if you took them out of this league, would be a noticeable difference? And frankly, as much as I love to talk about Ohtani,
if you put it that way, it's Ohtani to me.
I think it's still Seager because of, and this goes back to my argument for how it's hard when you have postseason, you have someone who didn't play postseason. Yeah, because I mean, how do you talk about this year for the league without talking about Seager? You really can't. Yes, you still mention Ohtani, and yes, he's a huge figure, but it's not his story. Seager is a more pivotal character in the story.
I think you're doing a lot of people and what a lot of voters are probably going to do. And they got a little bit of that postseason bias.
It's postseason bias. But the thing is, you have this after the postseason.
You're not going to do that before the postseason and have it overshadow like the World Series. But
that's true, but all I'm saying is you should have the vote before the postseason if the postseason shouldn't matter.
Yeah, well, Ohtani's my pick because he played way more games than Corey Seager. Corey Seager missed a quarter of the season. But he put up great numbers anyway, like 96 RBIs with a quarter of the season left to play. But Ohtani's my pick, even though I'm not one of those guys who's like, Ohtani should win every year because he does both.
And I think that's the dangerous part too, is like, look, Ohtani's going to be, I mean, we don't always know, but I feel comfortable saying Ohtani will be here again and we'll be having another conversation.
I don't like doing that though, because that's like the LeBron thing. Like,
I know.
LeBron only has like a couple MVPs because like I was like, oh, he's going to do it next year. And he never wins it. Like if he's the best that year, you should vote that guy. I think Ohtani was the most valuable. and because the stuff he was doing before he got hurt was insane. He's definitely MVP this year. There's been like the Judge year when Judge hit 60 or 62 bombs in a year, and Ohtani was having a great year too. I was like, Judge should be MVP. He hit 62 bombs. He broke a record that had stood for like 60 something years.
If you break a record, I think that yes, you should probably win MVP.
Yeah, and people were like, no, Ohtani should win. He does 2 positions. I'm like, no, Judge broke.
Who won?
Moving on.
Judge did. Yeah.
So let's move on to National League Cy Young, Zach Gallen and Blake Snell. You see the stats there. I'm not sure who you would pick there. I mean, you got Snell, who has a great ERA, but a lot less innings pitched. A lot more strikeouts, though. And you got Gallen, who, if you want to talk about who was more valuable to their team, Gallen went to the playoffs and Snell didn't, if that's how you weigh your MVP.
Yeah, that's true. And
I don't weigh my MVP like that.
Gallen absolutely ate in the postseason, or at least in that one game.
It's regular season awards, though.
I understand that, but still.
They got World Series and NLCS MVPs for a reason.
I am going with Gallen just based on record, on like stats. I think, yeah, he's got a higher earned run average, but generally, I mean, yeah, I think he's like strikeouts are comparable. Everything else he's leading. So, yeah, I give it to Gallen.
I don't even look at the record unless it's like something outrageous, like an outlier where the guy won like 20-something games or like 30 games, which we'll probably never see again, a 30-game winner. But I'm going to pick like Snell, dude. He has a 2 ERA. Gallen's ERA is almost touching 4.
Yeah.
And he's got 30 or 24 more strikeouts with like 30 less innings. But the thing that holds Snell back in my head, Snell's going to be the Cy Young, but the thing that holds him back is he doesn't go deep in games. If he can go deep in games, this guy's a perennial Cy Young.
Okay.
American League Cy Young, you got Garrett Cole with New York, and you got Kevin Gausman with the Blue Jays, both in the AL East. You see the stats, Cole in the 2s ERA.
Yeah.
Way more innings pitched than Gausman. He had 2 complete game shutouts on the year. Who's your pick? I mean,
I'm going Cole.
Yeah.
Yeah, stats-wise, it's him.
He's a heavy favorite. Like, I don't want to. I think I just burped mid-sentence there, too.
You did.
It's pretty impressive.
Okay.
But
impressive's not my word.
I should get an award for that. But no, I hate picking it. I hate Garrett Cole so much. Kermit. He talks like Kermit.
Oh, really? Is he like Mahomes?
Yeah, a little bit. And he's also, Garrett Cole's a crybaby. I hate Garrett Cole.
Oh, okay. Well, he's going to win, though. So.
He's a Cy Young.
Yeah.
But I didn't say that, but I did.
I heard you.
National League Rookie of the Year. You got 3 dudes. Carroll, James Outman with the Dodgers. We saw Carroll in the playoffs. And Kodai Senga, who was a pitcher with the Mets.
Yeah, and again, postseason bias. I'm going with Carroll.
Oh, my Lord. I mean, you're not wrong, yeah.
Okay.
That's not postseason bias. Like, he is the better out of these. Like, Kodai Senga, maybe, because his ERA is 2.98. But I think Corbin Carroll, because his team made playoffs. Like, sometimes I think I do weigh that a little bit.
When it's close, you got to weigh the fact that your team goes.
Stuff. Yeah, the other stuff. And Carroll, I mean, he was a rookie, almost hitting 300. He hit 25 bombs. Like, bro is nasty.
Yeah, he did great. Again, and that's part of it, too, is, like, brand power, you know? Like,
making it. Yeah, star
making
power,
it. And we're talking about you. And when there's only, like, 4 games going on, now we're talking about you.
There's more eyes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. More eyes, and that's what a lot of times I know is biased, but that's what's going to push you. That's what's going to push certain players over when it doesn't others.
The American League, we got Gunnar Henderson with the Orioles. He hit 255, 28 bombs, 82 RBIs, 10 stolen bags. Played 150 games for Baltimore. Then we got Tristan Cassis in Boston, 253 average, similar home runs, a little bit less RBIs. Didn't steal. He stole 1 bag, so at least he got one on. He got a breadstick in that column.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Henderson on this one, if for nothing else than the stolen bags, because those are fun to watch.
I'll do the same thing, and he only got 10 of those. But I mean, Henderson raked.
Yeah,
he raked. I think honestly, the biggest awards is going to be the National League MVP between Acuna and Mookie, and the Cy Young in the NL. I think.
Has Mookie won before?
I think so.
Okay, yeah, then Acuna for sure.
I have no idea. But let me check. Actually, no. Screw it. Actually, what do you think? Yes? I think he definitely has. He's definitely won before.
Yeah, I think he definitely has.
Mookie Betts. He's got I think he's a World Series MVP.
I was going to say he might be a World Series MVP.
With the Sox. Or no, he is with the Dodgers.
With the Dodgers, I thought he won, but I can't remember.
Up on the Rays. All-Star World Series MVP.
2018, yeah. Okay, MVP, so Acuna. Give it to Acuna.
Yeah. Just because Mookie has one, you can't give him another one?
Yeah.
You are the definition of the voter I hate. no logic. It's like, oh, well, he had one, I'll give him this one.
I already told you my logic for Acuna, and now I'm extra logic.
Oh, whatever. There's logic behind it, but I don't like it.
They're good players. Everyone gets a trophy.
So I want to round this up.
Yeah, let's do it.
with I love baseball. We knew that.
I was gonna say I don't think that was in question.
I love Major League Baseball.
Okay.
I love the World Baseball Classic.
Mhm.
And during the World Baseball Classic,
Oh yeah.
I fell in love with Taiwan
Mhm.
baseball. Like the
You mean Chinese Taipei?
No, Taiwan. I love Taiwanese baseball. I love the fan energy that they play music. I showed you all the.
Oh no, honestly, you fell in love with Taiwan.
Cheerleaders on the dugout.
And I was falling in love with Ohtani, but my side piece was Taiwan. Like they're so much fun to watch.
I was like Ohtani was in Japan, but no, yeah, the side piece Taiwan.
Taiwan, they were so fun to watch. It's fun to watch and it makes you happy to see them.
Yeah, their crowd. If you haven't seen it, go look up World Baseball Classic, like Taiwan games. They got cheerleaders on the dugout, mascots, like a dude with a microphone on the dugout, just like leading cheers.
Full party, and they know all the cheers. Like I know we know cheers, but I felt like their cheers were
like
more,
songs.
Yeah, like more intense,
musical production going on.
Fully.
Yeah, and it was sweet. And shout out Yu Chang. I love Yu Chang because look up some Yu Chang highlights. But anyways, I'm bringing up Taiwan right now because they just finished their World Series over there.
Oh, cool.
So when I was watching the World Baseball Classic, I followed this Twitter account, CPBL Stats.
Okay.
And he posts a bunch of highlights and not the World Series over there, but what do they call it? The Taiwan Series. That's what they call it. The Taiwan Series. He posts all the highlights there. We need to start watching some baseball outside of the US. Even though the US is the best baseball in the world, they're still good baseball.
Maybe we just need more Taiwanese players.
No, because they're not. They can't.
They're not that good.
No. You put one of the Taiwanese there's a reason they didn't win the World Baseball Classic.
Fair. Yes,
no
I
offense
forgot.
to Taiwan.
No, but
you put them against like a Shohei fastball or a Garrett Cole heater. Like they're not.
But here's the thing: sometimes even if the players are at a lower level, if the fan energy is there, the game can be just as fun to watch.
Yeah, 100%. And that's exactly what this was. I was seeing that Twitter account post highlights all the time.
I love that,
dude. This series, we might have to like do a separate video watching some highlights.
Okay.
Or like maybe a little side story.
We definitely need to do like highlights of the
stuff. Yeah, that would be sweet.
Yeah.
But dude, this series went 7 games. There was a bench clearing incident in game 2. And then, and this was legit. So
they had all the drama that our World Series did not have.
Our World no. Yeah. It was more so the Rangers-Astros series that had a little fireworks.
Yeah.
This is the final out of the 2023 Taiwan series. And I just wanted to show you this because
and the dragons, I love that. We could use some dragons.
Unreal. Big fan of this. Let's play it.
这球打高，有没有守备的机会？捕手来到了接近这边接上。
Watch this. Normal, right? Boom.
彩带抛下来。
That is so cool.
天幕桥上。
I was watching this and I was like, dang, why don't
amazing.
Why don't we do that in the US with the streamers? And I was like, it's because we would not be able to control ourselves here. It'd be the 8th inning and the streamers would start.
No, these seem like behaved people. We cannot do this. When you've got the cup things in Wrigley, like
the cup snakes,
and they don't even trust us with those. They took those away from us. Like we can't do this.
Yeah, I was like, man, we should do streamers, and then immediately thought, no, it wouldn't end well.
Can't.
We throw like hot dog. Dude, there was a hot dog night in Philadelphia where they gave out like $1 hot dogs.
Philly. I know where this. I can't imagine where this is, but it's
imagine
Philly.
this in Philly. Ain't no way.
No, someone's getting strangled with one of those.
Yeah. No, someone's like zip lining down off a streamer or something. But no, there was a
that's great.
There was a $1 dog night in Philly, and they started throwing hot dogs on the field.
Yeah, we can't be trusted.
No.
This is why we can't have nice things.
But this is sweet. And watching this, I was like, dude, we might. I'm mad I didn't wake up 3 a.m. to watch these games. You know?
I love that for them. That's so cool.
What's cool though is there are leagues coming up, and we might have to start paying attention and picking a team and rooting for them.
I think we should pick separate teams.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
But the Dominican Winter League, that's going to be the season. The
Dominican Winter League.
Yes, and you look at that, but that is probably one of the better outside of the U.S. leagues, and it's because a lot of the Dominicans that are in the U.S. go back to play. Okay. And a lot of Americans go back to play too. Like it's not like
like with Dominican heritage.
Yeah, like no, not even just American.
Oh, just Americans.
Yeah, they'll go play.
Oh, okay.
Like it's like a winter league, like to stay
up to par.
And a lot of the DR guys go back and play just to be in their country and play. You know. A lot of
Okay.
retired guys too that can
Oh.
still swing it. They'll go play.
That's cool.
Yeah. So,
Okay, yeah, maybe we have to take a gander at that.
well, yeah, we'll take a gander at the DR League. We're gonna pick a team. All right, that was it. We'll look forward to the awards being announced, and I guess we have a schedule. We'll put that schedule somewhere up here. But every Tuesday we'll be coming out, and Thursday with my pops, we'll watch some old man game because he's an old man. We'll watch some old man games together, and then throughout the week we'll just be posting other videos too. I know
Yeah, we've got tons of content with baseball. I mean, I'm here, so it's going to get a little bit,
Harry.
I was going to say not conventional, but we're going to have some fun.
Not
so.
conventional. Oh, Lord. I don't even know what that means.
We're going to get into fashion. Spoiler for the next episode. We'll see. But yeah, tons of baseball stuff coming at you, so make sure you rate, subscribe, view, all those follow.
Do all those and buy some fly frames.
All the things. Let Fly Frame know that we sent you because they're really cool. Whoa, you made it this far. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you rate, review, and subscribe. Go follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, TikTok, all the places.
They're all down here.
Check out Fly Frame, our sponsor. Thank you, Fly Frame. And
check out Taiwan baseball.
Taiwanese baseball. That's the way.